Every time we got close, it was just popping up.
We're going to call the January 6th, 2026 Jasper County Commissioners meeting to order. I want to thank you all for your attendance and your interest. We'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First up, we need to reorganize Jasper County Commissioners Board. Would entertain one of you gentlemen to move and make the motion to open nominations for the Jasper County Commissioners President and Vice President. I think we'll just do it as a slate. So would one of you want to move and make the motion to open nominations?
I move to open nominations.
All right. Craig makes the motion to open nominations. Do I have a second? Support. All right. Nominations are open. Do we have any nominations to be presented for the Jasper County Commissioners Board?
I'd nominate Breen Bontrager as president and Ryan Hilton as vice president.
Okay. Nomination has been made. Do we have a second? Support. Supported by Ryan. Need a motion to close nominations at this time.
Make a motion to close nominations.
Support.
Brian makes the motion to close. Craig supports. All in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
It's been presented to you for the Board of Commissioners leadership to be Breen Bontrager, president, and Ryan Hilton, vice president. All in favor as the presented slate, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that is established. Thank you again for your, basically, we're all interchangeable pieces here anyway, so figurehead. Okay, next up, we have the cause before us from the Planning and Development concerning NIPSCO and rezone request. Mary, would you have any comments that you'd care to make to us at this time?
The Plan Commission held a meeting on December 15th and heard the cause and made an unfavorable recommendation with one member abstaining.
Okay. So as we know, the commissioners have final authority. We can either follow that, we can either make no decision, or we can decide to overrule. We're not going to make a decision today because we recognize that the gravity of this particular project is more than just about a typical rezone. The implications for Jasper County could be extensive. And so we have asked the presenter to come and be able to give us a bit more information. And so we've made that available. We'll also have a brief time of public comment for those who wish to share anything that would be maybe new information other than what we heard at the Plan Commission. I was at the Plan Commission meeting and we definitely have heard those concerns. We've created a list of assurances that we're definitely applying to Jasper County. But in the meantime, we're still in data collecting mode here. We recognize the importance of this. We also recognize that this particular project and this endeavor is under the scrutiny of state and federal interests as well. So ultimately, what we decide or don't decide could get overruled at the state level, as there's evidently pending legislation to ultimately cite some of these things. We prefer the opportunity to be able to stay engaged as local executives on citing and zoning. That's one of the great concerns of the Commissioners Association, is that home rule is preserved. However, home rule was granted to us by the state legislature in the first place. So we have to learn how to work within the parameters that we're given. So that's what we're here today, is to hear and gather some more information. Do we have any experts or authorities that would be here representing NIPSCO this morning that would maybe have some additional information concerning the rezone? Good morning. Morning. Yeah, there you go. As long as the blue collar is on, then you're on.
There you go.
You're on.
Okay,
Very good. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for an opportunity to speak, Commissioners. My name is Vince Parisi. I'm president for NIPSCO. I first want to start by just, again, thanking you for an opportunity to be here and speak today. Also want to take a moment just to thank you all for the time that we spent over the last multiple weeks since the Plan Commission meeting to really dig into the questions that you've asked and the information that you've been looking for. It's provided us with an opportunity to do a number of things. We did amend the application to provide some additional detail related to the designs at the site. We've also potentially allowed for the commission to look at it all in one piece or in multiple parts, kind of depending on how the commission wants to move forward with that. This is a critical project, as you mentioned. This is an important project, we think, for the county. It's an important project for the state. It's an important project for the country. We think the 3,200 acres we have out at Schaefer is a significant site for us to be able to ultimately develop and build more gas generation, but also potentially set a data center. And I know that's an important issue for the community. It's an important issue for the folks behind us and that live here. And we want to make sure that we're working as partners with the community. We've been here for over 50 years. This is a community that's important to us. It's a community that we want to continue to live in and be part of. So we've got some additional information we could provide today. Through the process of having conversations with you all, we've looked at some of the things that we've done, and we've realized there are places that we could be better at what we do. Through the permitting process, we did pull some permits with respect to the peaker facility, but we did miss a couple. Those are two permits that we'll file this week. One is for the drainage, the other is for the building permit. Both of those are obviously necessary for us to continue. And we recognize the importance of that. So the team is digging into that. To be sure that we're better at that going forward, we're going to dedicate somebody full time to permitting and land to make sure that we're in a place where we're always in front of and not behind those kind of issues. And also, as we work through the project, we'll have someone dedicated to meet with the commissioners on a regular basis to understand the project, the pieces that are coming up, the issues that may be developing so that we can work through those as those projects would move forward. We recognize from the Plan Commission meeting and other discussions, there are a number of concerns the community has around water, around just being able to access the area and move through. We have had some conversations with the state with respect to County Road 49 and State Road 49 and County Road 1500 to be able to put in some better infrastructure there to ensure that as we're building these projects, the local folks that are trying to just move around and do their daily work aren't as heavily impacted. And so that's something we're committing to continue to move forward to make sure that we can meet that piece. With respect to water, we've had our water permit since 1972. We do have a data sheet here that we'll provide that provides some information with respect to water, but then also a number of other items. The permit from DNR, Department of Natural Resources, allows us to pull 68.5 million gallons per day from the river. Right now, with units 17 and 18, when they're operating, their maximum design capacity is about 47 million gallons per day. When you look, oops. No, that's okay. When you look at the combined cycles and the way that they operate, they'll use about half, even a little bit less than half as designed of the water per day that ultimately the coal units would use. So significantly less water is used with respect to the CCGT operations than with the coal operations. I have some folks here today if we want to talk more about the water, but we measure on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis with respect to about 100 different items. That information is provided to the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. That information is publicly available, so those results can be seen. And we measure that on a very regular basis.
Vince, I'm sorry, I missed. What is your permitted usage of water a day from the DNR maximum?
Yeah, our maximum is 68.5 million gallons per day.
Was that when, and your use of 47 million a day was when you had two units running?
Yeah, that's correct, Commissioner. The design capacity with respect to those two units would be about 47 million gallons per day. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're using. It's, whether or not they're operating and how long.
And of that, how much is that all river water? Is it pumped from local wells? What's your source for most of that?
Yeah, the vast majority of it comes from the Kankakee River. We do use, from a county perspective, about 5% of the water that's used in the county is used by NIPSCO. The other 95% is used just for every other usage not related to NIPSCO.
And you said that the CCGTs and the peaker unit would use cumulatively half of what you're utilizing today.
Yeah, the design for the CCGTs, the design capacity is 20 million gallons per day compared to the design capacity for the coal units, which is about 47 million gallons per day. The the peaker won't use water, just the CCGTs. One of the other questions and one of the other concerns I think that came up in the process was the cost of energy going up. We've created something called GenCo, and I don't know if we spoke a lot about this historically, but through our GenCo process, we're able to separate 100% of the costs associated with any kind of a data center or large customer development from our core customers. So our core customers will pay nothing for any of that generation. So the CCGTs, for example, will invest over $5 billion in Jasper County with respect to that project, and our customers won't pay any of that. And there will be about $1 billion that'll go back to customers over the life of the contract with respect to that piece.
So I know some people have, downplayed a billion over 15 years, but can you talk about what's the trend line going to be? I mean, is that at least indicating that these types of developments won't negatively impact? Is that the overall goal as far as what current rates, aside from what normal increases would be or whatever? These won't be spiking directly as a result of a project like this?
That's exactly right. So with our GenCo, we're able to completely separate all of the construction, development, operating costs with respect to the units. We have a special contract that we enter with the data center customer that ultimately all those costs are recovered directly from the data center customer, not from our core customers. So at a very baseline, customers will not see a negative impact. Their bill will not go up based upon our data center development. And because of the use of system charge, it will actually be a credit on the bill. It'll start in 2027 and then go up through the construction period and through the ramp up period till it gets to its max in 2032 and then run for the balance of the contract.
Vince, can you talk on, will there be any adverse effect on the, we've talked a lot about energy rates as far as electric, but what about natural gas? If we're going to fire all this stuff with natural gas, how's it going to affect natural gas rates? Because we do have obviously natural gas users in the room too.
We do. And again, none of the costs with respect to operating the plant will be borne by our core customers. We have a very robust system at NIPSCO. We have a 600-pound loop, and we're also blessed with having 5 interstate pipes that cross our system. So we have significant upstream access to natural gas. We're able to go out and do hedging programs. We do that for our core customers to make sure that we're able to pick times in the market where the rates are lower and more stable to help stabilize those prices. Right now in the market, what we see is actually a downward trend with respect to prices on the long term. Certainly during peak periods, natural gas prices kind of spike and go up and down, but we don't anticipate any negative impact with respect to natural gas prices. And as we build these large plants, our natural gas customers could actually see a reduction in price with respect to our portion of the bill, simply because we'll have another large customer on there that'll be utilizing the system.
So I know one of the concerns brought up also as well was the fact that you're not actually going to shut the coal down. And I did see that the federal government issued an order for you to continue. What is the long-term goal, and will the coal actually be shut down at some point? If, or what's NIPSCO's position or desire on that?
That's correct, Commissioner. We did receive, we refer to it as a 202C order. It's an emergency order that's issued by the Department of Energy from the federal government that ultimately was issued about a week ago that compels us to continue to operate Unit 17 and 18 during the pendency of that order. The order under the Emergency Powers Act can only be issued in 90-day increments. What we're seeing with respect to other units that have also received orders in other states is that those orders are being reissued. Our understanding is that they'll likely will continue for a period of time, potentially through the end of the Trump administration. When we do have our integrated resource planning process, that's where we take a look every 3 years at the generation that we need for our core customers. In that process, we look about 20 years out. It has demonstrated that the Schaefer unit typically would be closed, but for the continuation of the 202C order. We'll continue to look at that. There are some environmental items that, compliance requirements that ultimately, if we have to meet those, it does become expensive to run.
I do know one of the other concerns, will we notice locally, when you're talking about, CO2 emissions and so forth, how will the CCGT compare to what we've had to, experience locally during coal operation?
Yeah, the CCGT natural gas is significantly cleaner just as a natural energy source than coal. Significantly less is needed when it comes to ultimately scrubbing and purifying so that when you operate it in a CCGT mode, which is that combined cycle mode, it's actually significantly more efficient than it would be in just a simple cycle mode. And so it winds up being a very efficient source of energy. We'll continue to develop the project for carbon capture and to be able to potentially do that down the road if ultimately that becomes a need or a desire from the community or from the government. So we'll design it in that method. We won't necessarily put that equipment on to start, but we'll continue to look at those types of sustainability issues.
How about comparable noise, decibel levels? Would people notice any difference when those are running as opposed to when Schaefer currently runs? How does that compare? Or is there a way to?
Should not be a noticeable difference with respect to the decibel level, with respect to the noise from the Schaefer facilities.
Brian or Craig, any questions you guys?
One of the conversations we had, the statement was made that 98% of the time you would be cooling with air if there was a data center placed up there, and 2% of the time you'd be using water. If water's obviously not an issue, would it be quieter to cool with more water than air from the noise, from the sound, or from the fans?
So that's a great question. I don't have an answer for that. I can get an answer for that for you. The percentage that you're using are correct. That's what we understand as well. About 98% of the time they'll just use air to cool. It's really just during the extreme heat periods where they use water to cool. The water usage from a data center of the size that we're contemplating there is usually less than what a golf course would use on an annual basis.
Does that number still, was that 8.5 to 10 million gallon a year? Is that what we were told?
That's our
A year, not a day, a year.
That's right.
Okay.
As far as the discharge, I know we're kind of back on water here. Can either you or Brian give us how does that process work, or how has that historically worked from Schaefer as far as water being discharged back out? How is that tested? And will that process essentially be the same going forward than what it currently has been?
Yeah, let me ask Brian to come up and speak to that a bit.
All right.
Yeah, good morning. Brian Cordum, Director of Environmental Permitting for NIPSCO. So like Vince mentioned earlier, there's about 100 different constituents, including temperature, that are monitored. All of that will continue to be the same according to our IDEM and PDS permit. The water goes into the final settling basin. That's about 220 acres, and it continues to cool in that basin before it's discharged to the river. So the temperature of it going into the river is basically whatever a pond or a lake in that area, that same temperature would be. I believe, look back at 2019, that's when the entire site was in operation. The warmest that was discharged was 80 degrees, 80.2, actually, and it was in the month of August. So the temperatures it's not hot water going into the river. It's just basically.
So it's basically ambient temperature then
ambient
at that
temperature,
point.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I realize, excuse me, trace elements could be an issue that are those tested for? I'm sure they probably are as a result of coal. Would that also stay in place?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The limits for the discharge, they're going to be similar. It's based on the regulation that we have to comply with. It doesn't really change with the type of generation that you're doing. You still have to meet those limits. So even we're responsible for the water we take in, right? So what happens is you take the water in and it cycles. So whatever we're discharging, especially with the CCGT, that water is it's non-contact cooling water. It's just cycled and concentrated. So the elements that we're discharging came from the river.
Okay, so non-contact.
Yep.
Cooling. Okay.
Brian, refresh my memory, we've had a lot of talks. If there was a data center on the east side of the existing plant, where would it draw its water from specifically? I understand the river, but was there not intent that it would come from the cooling ponds?
It's going to come from the intake settling basin in the same way that we use.
Told us.
Yeah, right. So the
Okay.
water comes off of the river, goes into an 80-acre intake settling basin, lets some of the sediment from the river settle out before it goes into the system. And there's some processing that we do to the water. There's reverse osmosis. There's some chlorine that's added and things like that to prevent scaling on the pipes.
So let's imagine we're looking at the beacon right now. If
Yep.
I'm looking north at the north entrance on 1500 into the plant, the pond that is on the west side of
Correct.
that entrance is
That's
the
correct.
intake
Yes,
pond.
that's the intake pond.
And the pond on the east side of the plant that is the 220 acres is the
Final settling basin
where it goes back to the river.
where it goes back to the
Okay.
river. Correct.
Roughly how deep is that pond, do you know?
10 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were trying to do some math, just guessing the other day, and we looked it up, and it was exactly 217 acres is what we came up with. We rolled it up to 220 and figured it 8 feet deep, and it was, what was it, 600 million gallon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of water.
What it held. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. And as far as the request for the rezone to consider, tell me a little bit about your modified or your altered plan.
Yes, we amended the application to allow the parcels, or 5 parcels, to be considered either all together or in 2 different tranches, essentially. The 3 that would be associated with the CCGTs, and then the 2 that would be associated with the data center. So we wanted to separate that just to enable the commission to look at it holistically or look at it in part and kind of move it accordingly. We also provided additional design details, I think, for the most part, measurements. Yeah, additional measurements that just with respect to the peaker unit.
Okay. Should we have them elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure.
Yes, please.
I might have Tanya come up and talk about that a little bit.
Tanya Stanley, Senior Director, Real Estate Services for NIPSCO. So we provided, along with the amendment, details for the measurements on the Peaker project, which showed us the setbacks, the boundary lines, the size of the buildings and so forth related to that project. The boundary lines are within our property, so it's not an exact parcel. So we outlined in detail where that would sit on the parcel. For the CCGT, we were in conceptual drawings. So we have the drawings of the assets. And we're now working on how that will sit on the site. So we'll provide that.
So as far as the peaker itself, is it currently on the I-2 parcel?
Yes.
If I interpreted that
Yeah.
diagram that you had sent.
Yeah. Most of the assets that are intended to be built are on the I-2 portion. There's a partial pond on the ag side.
Retention
Yeah.
pond
Yeah.
and
Stormwater pond is what I'm looking at here is kind of 2/3, 1/3, and then you've got a gas metering yard, construction trailers, things like that.
Correct.
okay. Okay, right. Any other?
Brian would like to make a quick update to the size of the ponds.
Oh, okay, sure.
So I said the intake pond was 80 acres. That's not right. It's 20 acres. It's about 80 million gallons is what's in there. So
Thank you.
All right. Anything else that need to add that we might find beneficial as far as information for us as we're considering this?
Just that, NIPSCO wants to be a partner with the community. Obviously, this is an important community. We think this is a critical project. We do realize that there's a lot of interest and we need to make sure that we're answering questions and are providing information that you're needed. Will remain available for ongoing conversations, what additional information you need. And certainly, happy to take any kind of additional questions that are needed.
I know one of the things that was brought up at the planning commission meeting that night was, property values, right? What we've seen in property values from previous projects up there, concern about property values from any project going forward up there. Specifically the houses there on 1300, both sides of 300 East. Have you guys given any thought to how you would mitigate property value loss for those homes there? Or are you prepared to engage in that conversation?
Certainly prepared to engage in that conversation.
Okay. All right.
You guys took a lot of the questions I had wrote down, so
You know what? You don't have.
beat me to the punch.
I guess we're on the same page, aren't we?
I will say this, I do appreciate the forthcomingness. It took a couple rounds, but you guys coming to the table and sitting down with us and going through and, I've got a lot of the maps on my computer that I'm looking at right now. I got a lot of the measurements, a lot of the things from a planning commission perspective as far as your gas energy production goes. So I will greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And again, appreciate all the time that you've spent. The questions have been very good. I think helped us clarify a number of points and providing additional information to be able to let you make a decision based upon the facts.
Good.
So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, just to be clear, we're not actually going to move on this today, but I know most of the folks that are in the room are here as a result or here concerning this cause. We would entertain a bit of public comment at this time, brief. Probably Ryan's going to time it, probably keep it at 1 to 2 minutes. If you want to raise a topic that has not already been talked about, we're thoroughly aware of local property values. We're thoroughly aware of noise, water usage, those concerns, traffic flow. Believe me, I was at that meeting. I heard you loud and clear as to what the concerns were. I was a little bit late at that meeting because I was at a meeting talking about the potential need for Jasper County to move away from volunteer fire to full-time paid fire departments, which is going to mean probably putting a tax on you folks if we create a fire district. So as commissioners, we're looking at the economics of it. We're looking at the impact of it on you as the neighbors and the county as a whole. And, you know, so we have a lot of what ifs we're considering that kind of goes along with the generation and the potential data center. And, you know, what if the result of this coming in is a significant amount of AV that we wouldn't have to implement a wheel tax to do road funding? That's the state is wanting to lay that on us. What if we can capture funding to be able to allow our local fire departments to start paying full-time firemen? You know, what if taxes in those townships could go down by 50%? So that's a lot of what ifs we're talking about. So that's why, you know, I'm this is an opportunity where we're thinking out loud. You want us to have transparency and talk about our thought process, and that's what this is all about. That we're not just making a decision and rubber stamping it. But what if, you know, we could deny the rezone, and what if the state goes ahead then and provides for siting of a data center that's going to land there anyway, and then we miss out on potential billions of dollars of AV benefits and economic development payments that could greatly benefit the county. I'm not saying as an answer, I'm just literally thinking out loud here. What if? And, you know, what if we can provide a list of assurances to NIPSCO and the potential developer that we get a signature on, not an MOU, nothing verbal, but we actually get signed agreements to essentially work towards an agreement as to what these values could be that could mean long-term stable revenue for Jasper County. As you know, the state has shifted away from, or is shifting away from, levy-based tax system, which means I was on the council years ago, many years with Steve Jordan. Jasper County was given a specific levy that you could tax for your local services and needs, and you could levy the max, which we usually did, but tried to be very frugal with that. We had many people say, you know, well, you know, we need better this, better that. Why don't we just raise taxes and get more money? Well, it doesn't work that way. If your AV grows, your tax rate goes down slightly, which is great. Jasper County, as you know, as you have endured, we've had, you know, for the fifth highest income tax, which spread the burden of services across everybody. But we've had 10th lowest, typically, approximately, property taxes in the state. Well, with the state moving away from levy-based taxing, and they're going to go to a rate-based system, the natural attrition and the way they've changed farmland values and home discounts that they're going to be giving, your natural AV growth is going to start to decline. We've had, I think the last couple of years, we had 10 to 11% of gross AV growth, as I recall. I'd have to get that specifically, or Steve might know. But the trend now is going to force that down. So unless we consider a development that could be transformational like this, which would really spike and give us a potential AV boost, it would also afford us to be a lot more selective as to what projects we have to entertain. So I know for me personally, there's a lot of moving parts here and a lot of things to consider. We have driven around the property. We have looked at it personally, wrestled with this a lot. So over the next few weeks, we'll come to a decision so that you'll know what's going on. But I just want you to know, I know these three, the council as well, we've interacted and talked with them. None of this is taken lightly. We're not just looking at the shiny thing, which is a lot of money or could be a great thing for the county. We're trying to evaluate all the impacts across the board. I will say it seems to me, and I do appreciate the fact that a lot of folks have shared a lot of the negatives that have been posed and positioned around data center development. We have the benefit of observing where other people miss some points. We have the opportunity now to learn from other people's mistakes and not have to repeat those. And that's why I know for me, I'm working on, I've heard your concerns and putting together a list of assurances that I would have to have in place, very secure, that would answer these concerns and these questions that you folks have been bringing up. You know, we received emails, we've heard comments, which is your right to do that. I mean, we are the first level of government that you guys can interact with. So, you know, those are some of the concerns I have. You know, many things were expressed out of some fear, some emotion, and some good thought out logic. It was a good fruit salad of all of it. And from where we sit, yes, we have emotions. I know I have emotions concerning this, but ultimately when the decision comes to be made, I can't make that decision based on an emotion. I have to try to look at the facts and weigh how it affects the overall landscape of Jasper County. I would love to see, I mean, obviously the economic boost would be awesome. One project that would allow us the freedom to not have to try to push for 5,000 or 10,000 new homes in a short amount of time. You know, I think a lot of people live in Jasper County because, and I've shared this with company officials, a lot of folks moved here to get away from the noise of up north. And many feel now that the noise might be following them. But if we can get some assurances to help mitigate that impact, is it worth considering what the overall benefit could be? And we've had conversations with leadership from NIPSCO here, and they have recognized that previous leadership decisions, administrations before them, probably left a bad taste in many people's mouths. But we're not there. We're not then. We're now. And can we now establish a professional relationship that actually starts to build trust as opposed to just being based on cynicism and bad experiences? So I'm not trying to be naive about this. We've had straight up conversations about these kinds of things. And so that's my perspective. And that's where we're at, and tried to be as open and transparent. You know, I went through significant duress when the BP situation was here, carbon sequestration. I can tell you, I never expected to be facing anything like that. This is very significant, but I would much rather be talking about this issue than what that issue was. So I thank you for your attention and your respect. And I want to give Craig and Ryan an opportunity to share a thought or two, and then we will entertain some public comment. But once again, just to be respectful of time and not to diminish anybody, but we know water, we know sound, we know light, we know traffic, we know property values. Those are at the forefront of our considerations. And so that has been made very clear to us. And I know that if I lived up there within a few miles of the place, it'd be very clear to me as well. Even though I live 20 miles away, we're still Jasper County. And what affects one affects all. At least that's my view. We are the top ag producing county, or at least last I knew we were in the state. We want to preserve that ability and that legacy in Jasper County. We want to try to walk the line and have a good quality of life that we appreciate here in Jasper County. So I've talked enough. Ryan or Craig, feel free.
No, to echo a lot on what Reen said, I look at this from the perspective of a 38-year-old individual who's lived in Jasper County my entire life. I take a lot of this responsibility to the most level of seriousness you could ever imagine. I don't want to do something in this county without having the most knowledge that I can possibly have, because 50 years from now, I'm still going to be living in this county. And I want to make a decision that I know I can live with 50 years down the road, knowing that my kids are hopefully following in my footsteps, and my friends' kids, and all the family that I can find. Without this education, we're getting on the forefront. And to my point, we went through a couple meetings in the plan commission level where we kept getting a little bit more information. I think that, I'm going to speak on behalf of myself with this, but I think we've come to a realization that Jasper County is not just going to get walked over, and we're going to have an opportunity to sit down at the table. And NIPSCO representatives are sitting here in front of me looking at me, nodding their heads going, we realize we screwed up and we should have provided a lot of this information several months ago. And I am very appreciative of the fact that they've been able to provide some of this information. As far as a conversation of a data center, I'm not even in the realm of that conversation yet, because I want those individuals to be the ones to speak on behalf of that. You know, I think Craig made this point, he can echo this point later, but NIPSCO knows energy. They don't know data center production. President Vince said that he couldn't answer that question, but he get it for us. Well, there's a reason for that. He's not a data center knowledge individual. No matter which direction moving forward, there's always a forefront of knowing that Jasper County and its residents are always going to be in the forefront of my mind. And I want to ensure every one of that. Nothing at this table goes lightly. You all, Jasper County residents, like I said, I'm still going to be living here. And I take a lot of that to heart.
I might not make 50 years, but I hope to be living here.
Well,
For a long time.
the point of it is we're still going to be living here collectively. I want to make a decision that's going to be right for Jasper County 50 years from now. I want to know that we either hit this one out of the park. I don't want to live with regret 50 years from now, knowing I was part of that.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, whatever happens in this decision, gas plant and potentially data center happens, doesn't happen, the three of us up here are going to own it forever. Just as the commissioners in 1972 own NIPSCO Schaefer plant now, right? Anything that happened positive out of that or negative out of that was because of their involvement. So put yourself in that position and then ask yourself if you think you take it serious. It is a very serious decision for us to make. There's pros and cons to all this, and obviously we have outlined some of those today. But how do we navigate through that to make the right decision? If it happens, how do we protect everybody in the area as best we possibly can? If it doesn't happen, how do we go forward and fund some of the things that were listed today? What's our options for doing that? I can't take this moment to talk without thanking the people who reached out to me by email, by text, who I've talked to on the phone. It's very important, if you're not here today and you're listening online, that you reach out to us. I know every one of us here is accessible, can be reached by phone. We'll show up to visit with you to help answer some of your concerns, or maybe get some questions from you that we haven't thought of yet. We're none of us are too versed on this not to learn something new. So please stay engaged. Part of us being transparent is your engagement, and it can't just be engagement when there's a hot topic. You need to stay engaged year round, no matter what's going on. That makes us a stronger community, and I think it makes us more efficient as a community. So thank you again for everybody who has reached out. Thank you to the Plan Commission for the hard work they've done and listening to this multiple times and getting us to this point. And hopefully we can get some more comments out of this. Take the time that we have here before we have to make a decision on this to address all the concerns that are there. So I appreciate it.
All right. With that said, we would entertain a bit of public comment. Once again, if it's something new, that'd be great. That'd be what we'd like to focus on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name's Dottie Warwick, 436 South Kittery Drive, Rensselaer. God owns the world, and we need to be good stewards for God's world. And this data center isn't what God intended for us to do. I'm a great-grandmother, and we need to preserve this world for future generations. I'm pretty sure at the Planning Commission meeting, they talked about closed water system. And I said that was malarkey. They didn't even bring that up today. So anyway, 50 years ago, NIPSCO was a respected company and Dean Mitchell was the president. And I was proud to say I was a NIPSCO union employee. 50 years later, NIPSCO isn't respected like they used to be. It's all about money.
Can I just clarify one thing, Dottie? It would be important to say, in your opinion.
Okay. In my opinion.
In your opinion.
Okay.
And
But I lived it. And when they closed the commercial offices, got rid of the line crews, the gas crews, the linemen, local customer service went out the window. Newton County Highway Department, they have a hard time getting a hold of NIPSCO when they need solve a problem.
Well,
So-
I
Okay.
know I appreciate your experience. I know you shared very passionately at the Plan Commission meeting.
Right.
That's,
And also they mentioned CCF, that they'd be interested in that. Well, I think they need to talk to Michelle Douglas, the mayor of Satoshi, Mississippi, who almost suffocated that night when the gas explosion.
yeah, we've certainly indicated
Right,
that we're not interested.
but they entertained it.
Yeah.
President, didn't you mention that? Right,
Well, carbon capture and storage is different as opposed to carbon capture and utilization. But yeah, we're not thrilled or in favor of injection around there. Our geology doesn't support it at the level that I know BP wanted to do it, but I don't want to mix topics today. Is there anything else anything?
well, data center, I think it's just, you need to put a moratorium on it for 5 years at least.
Well,
And I know it's all about money.
well, we're not allowed to do.
Grandmother, but I got a 3-year-old great granddaughter. And I used to be proud to work for NIPSCO.
Yeah.
And when and this is what I used to work with.
Yeah.
Paper, pen, and a manual typewriter.
Times have certainly changed. Thank you, Dottie. The timer went off. So I always appreciate your gentle, kind.
Well, God bless you guys all, but no data centers.
Thank you, Dottie.
And I think NIPSCO better rethink that part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to help the consumer.
Well,
And AI is really a bad mistake. And I have a gut feeling about that.
I hear you there. That's a topic for a whole nother discussion there. Thank you, Dottie. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Dave Jones. I live in Jasper County. I've been a resident my whole life. I live in Wheatfield at 216 South Meadow Lane, right in town. I've been a union electrician for 30 years, and I've spent a lot of my career working outside of the county. NIPSCO is requesting to rezone some property that they own in an effort to build much needed power generation in the form of peakers and a combined cycle unit. Not only will this create hundreds of jobs for folks like myself, but this will bring in much needed tax revenue for the county. Our community has a good partnership with NIPSCO for years, and this is a great opportunity to continue that partnership. I know no action's being taken today, but I would urge the commissioners and respectfully ask that they approve the rezoning request for the peakers and combined cycle projects when the time comes. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Doherty. I'm the CEO of the Center of Workforce Innovations, which serves as the region's intermediary around workforce development. Not done entirely by us, but with many different types of partners. You mentioned wanting to hear something new and different. By the data, there are two, with 1 minute, there are two extremely important points that I want to make. The gentleman before me mentioned the jobs. There's much more to consider beyond the construction jobs that happen, which are very good paying jobs. The jobs that happen within the walls of the data center are good paying jobs and technology jobs. I also want you to consider the ancillary jobs that are created, good paying jobs, when a data center exists and other businesses come. Workforce development is economic development. The most important concern that I want to bring to your attention by the data, as a region, we are seeing the workforce aging. All right. And so literally since 2000, there's been a 60% decline. So the trend line for prime working age, 25 to 54, is declining significantly. And the total population for the workforce is declining, not as significantly by that percentage. The biggest concern we have is youth and creating opportunities for them, not just the youth that are currently in your community. Ryan, you mentioned wanting to keep youth, but you want to attract youth, and they want these good paying jobs. So for Jasper's economy and workforce in the future, this is a phenomenal opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Barb Deerdorf, 5298 East, 1350 North, Sampier, which is in Kankakee Township. The Planning Commission recognized an abundant number of reasons to take an unfavorable position with regards to the rezoning position. A few other things to consider. Not only are there concerns about groundwater and shallow wells in the area near NIPSCO, but there is no municipal water supply in Kankakee and Walker Townships, and a municipal water supply only for a few buildings in Wheatfield Township. Additionally, residents of the town of Wheatfield, like those in the countryside, all have private wells. Wheatfield Elementary School is on a well and located only 1.5 miles from NIPSCO as the crow flies or as the aquifer flows. How will these homes, businesses, and schools have a reliable water source if the proposed data center does drop the water table or contaminate the groundwater? I haven't heard NIPSCO offer to set up a municipal water supply for Kankakee, Wheatfield, and Walker Townships, and I'm sure the cost of doing so would far exceed any county tax revenue generated by this proposed rezone. Having to construct a municipal water supply for the surrounding townships could cause serious financial harm to our county's finances. I also want to talk about light pollution and the need for a county ordinance about lighting. A consistent complaint I've heard about the solar project are the very bright lights NIPSCO has used at its new substations in Kankakee Township and how they are impacting neighbors. So I ask that you would begin to look at implementing an ordinance about lighting and light pollution, especially in areas near homes. I would also like for you to take a second look at the rezoning map. The land in the southwest portion of the map, the land that abuts the former County Road 250 West, is currently a coal ash landfill. They have been piling coal ash there since I was a kid, riding the bus down the road each morning and each afternoon. That land on which a portion of the coal ash landfill sits is zoned agricultural, and they are petitioning for it to be zoned industrial. I checked the zoning for the landfill in Newton County. It is zoned industrial, and it does not operate a hazardous waste landfill like the one operated by NIPSCO. So I ask that you check the zoning on that land and determine if NIPSCO has acted unlawfully by operating a hazardous waste landfill on the eastern portion, which is zoned agricultural. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Barb.
I just want to make a few comments here relevant to assurances. We talked about giving assurances, getting assurances. Did we get assurances in 1972? I thought we did. At least that's what was presented at the last meeting. I'd like to know what your assurances are going to be like, how you're going to frame them, and how they're going to be monitored and managed. When people have complaints, well, they have to go get to an attorney to have it resolved. Most people won't be able to afford that. So when you talk about assurances, that's one thing that I took from the meeting I went to last time is, yeah, that's a good thing. Sounds like it's a good thing, but who's going to monitor it? Who's going to enforce it? Who's going to have the integrity to live up to what they pledged to do for the people that live in that area? One last comment. What happens to the water resources in the future in the river? I'm assuming more and more people will demand water, especially corporations, from that river. What assurances will we have then? What will the cost of drilling new wells be to the people that live in the area and maybe throughout Jasper County? And maybe in terms of health. Because I don't know what that water is going to look like. And I don't think any of you got an idea what it looked like in terms of consumption and use. Assurances. Make it strong, make it accountable, make sure there's some recourse that you can come back to with the corporation involved here and hold them accountable. That's all.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.
Jerry, could you just step to the mic and state your name? Because you didn't at the beginning, so it's for the record, please.
I'm Jerry McKim. I live at 355 East Orange Drive, Rensselaer, Indiana.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I'm Heather Ennis. I'm President and CEO of the Northwest Indiana Forum. I resemble Lisa's remarks as an aging workforce participant. So the economy is changing. We can choose to participate in it, or we can choose to be left behind. These opportunities that we're seeing right now are once in a generation opportunities. We will need more power to be able to participate, for the whole region to be able to participate in these activities. And this type of investment that NIPSCO is looking to make is critical infrastructure for being able to attract not only data center investment, but continue to grow our economy on a regional basis. This project is consistent with the Plan Commission plan for that area. It seems to be in the comprehensive plan as already your vision for the future of the county. These types of investments, again, will not remain out there forever. So if we choose to remain dormant on them, we do so at the opportunity of missing these types of investments. The economy is evolving, and we need to continue to participate in it in a meaningful way. So I appreciate you guys talking about the changing tide around local government finance and what that means, being very mindful that the opportunities that you present to your community do hinge on continuing to look at growth opportunities. So thank you for the time, and thank you for letting me speak.
Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it.
I'm Terry Wells, and I live in Wheatfield, Indiana. And I just want to talk about the elephant that's in the room that nobody has talked about, is where NIPSCO gets their money to pay their taxes is from us, the customer, we the people. And so whenever you raise their taxes, it comes from us. They do not bring this money in from other places. The people that are speaking for this do not live in Jasper County for the most part. The gentleman here that's in charge said that he's going to do road improvements. We already know the things under construction, road improvements cannot happen that fast. He talked about we can get the water testing results are public. Where is that public? Where do we see that available, easily available? Water usage, when he spoke of water usage, he talked about the peaker plant. He did not mention the data centers, which are the ones that consume the large amounts of water. You got to read between the lines with this guy. State law, he said that they have a deal where it's going to pay 100%. We, the customers, will not pay any of it. State law says that 20% can be paid by us, the customers, and it can be passed on legally by them. I've lived in Northwest Indiana my entire life. I have yet to see NIPSCO reduce my rates ever. And so the promises are very unsustainable in my mind. What the two big ponds, what about evaporation? How much loss of water of those large ponds from our natural river takes place? The people that are talking about the jobs that are being created, look at old Wheatfield. NIPSCO's been here since 72. Downtown doesn't look very prosperous. So how is that going to change? There's too many compromises. We need to stop the non-disclosure agreements, and there's 72 data center plants right now planned in the state of Indiana. We have 92 counties. Do we need 92 data centers? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Wells. Appreciate that. maybe we can get an answer. Where are the water results published at, Brian?
The IDOT website. Those.
So IDEM website and type in NIPSCO, or what would you do?
Yeah, we could provide a link if that would be more helpful to you. I don't know the specific
Okay.
navigation within the site.
All right.
If you go to IDEM, query on there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's on the fact sheet under groundwater monitoring. There's a website.
That's the fact sheet you have back there for people to pick up? Okay. All right.
So everybody-
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Did you get it? Okay. Right there. All right.
Good morning. My name is Paul Myers. I live in Wheatfield, 12694 McLean Court. Thank you for the opportunity for being able to talk at this meeting. NIPSCO, thank you for bringing more information and keeping the discussion open. As others before me have stated, this is a tremendous opportunity for the county. A lot of work. I had a lot of union work, a lot of skilled craftsmen and craftswomen in the area. Project of this scale, you're going to get the best of the best across the board from every trade. I'm confident in that. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that we as Jasper County have an opportunity, both economically and we have to keep in mind that the reliability of the NIPSCO power is beyond Jasper County. This project is in the best interest of NIPSCO customers, which is about the northern third of the state. So I request that we keep an open mind and continue the dialogue between NIPSCO and Jasper County and get the information to get this project moving forward safely. And like you've mentioned before, have our voice as Jasper County be a part of it and not get overruled by state and federal levels. This is an opportunity for us to be heard and benefit our community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Myers. Appreciate that.
Paul Conley, 1424 East, 1275 North, Wheatfield. As I stand here in this meeting today, what I hear is that regardless, we're just going through formalities. Regardless of what these people say, these people that are impacted, their livelihoods are turned upside down. And these formalities we're going through, we know that if we don't rezone, that they're going to sue, take to the state, they'll get their way. And big business has been stepping all over this county for too long. As far as number one ag, all I see is solar panels everywhere. And now we're going to have big bright lights in the sky, constant noise, shoved down our throats, the people that live around there. And there's other places where these things can happen. I know it was brought up, D&H Mitchell, up on the lake, ample supply of water, all kinds of property. Why does it have to happen here? And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments. This, just to answer your comment, which I do appreciate, this is not just a formality. We are, like I said, for me personally, I'm trying to weigh in all the concerns, yours included, up in the area. So I do thank you for that. We consider that this is a very weighty topic. So I think we wouldn't be doing our job and carrying out our responsibilities if we just rubber stamped it one way or the other. Anyone else?
Narita Dykstra, 3367 East, 1300 North. You talked about concerns. One other concern that I do have, other than my property value, is in another experience I went through. I keep going back to solar panels, but one of the other experiences I went through with the solar panels was they did a lot of damage to my property through construction. And so I approached them with it. I talked to them about it, and they were willing to reimburse me for that damage. But the only way they would reimburse me for that damage was with a non-disclosure, a gag order. And so that is, and I went to a lawyer and there was nothing I could do to get out of it. So I never got reimbursed, obviously, because I didn't sign the gag order, or I wouldn't be talking about this right now. But that gag order went so far as if I gave my property to my children, that gag order went with that property. If I sold my property, that gag order was also sold with my property. And that was the only way I could get reimbursed for the damage that they did to my property. So that is another concern. Living right there, right next to it. What kind of damage am I going to have? And am I going to be reimbursed, or am I going to have to sign a gag order? So I just want you guys to be aware that that did happen and it could happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, Narita. That's one of the things, and that's actually part of a list of concerns and assurances we were talking about is a process to have damage assessments and a process for that to be taken care of that you don't have to go through. And I was thinking of you specifically from when you were on the study committee. That was totally uncalled for how that happened. So that is one of the concerns that we are talking about. One of the other what ifs, Barb brought it up as well. I mean, what if, as a result of this, actually municipal water could be provided for Wheatfield at no cost to, as part of the economic impact we're trying to collect. So that's also part of our concern. But once again, in a situation like that, do you force it on Wheatfield, or do you make it available for them? And do we even look into that possibility? So that is a good point that you brought up, and something that we've talked about as well. So thank you again. Anyone else? Okay, then we have other business we need to get onto today, but we'll let Sue have an input today. Thank you. Go ahead and state your name.
Definitely had not planned on being.
Go ahead and state
today.
your name too.
Sue Steinke, 13700 North, 700 West, Demont, Indiana. You guys all know I'm the numbers girl. I come here talking to you mostly about getting money, but today I'm going to talk about a few things new that I don't know that has been looked at. Many inconsistencies that I have heard here today. A lot of minimized numbers. I hear numbers about this project and numbers about that project and numbers about that project, but have all of those numbers been correlated together at consumption use and consumption rates? Have we seen like a column of this project will use this project will use this, and this project will use this? I know what they're permitted for, but have we looked at the percentage of what they have been using compared to the percentage of what they will be using of that permit? Like, we are permitted to use so much water out of the river too, but we don't use it, right? I know the state has those for a reason, and they're just saying, oh, we're permitted for that. We're permitted for that, but they have not been using what they're permitted for. So what will the effect of that usage be when that permitted percentage rate goes up? I mean, these are just things that I'm hoping that you're looking at, because I don't know that it's been put all together in one location, right? Because even as they spoke this morning, they say, this project will use this project will use that, and they're minimizing their numbers. What happens when all three projects are put together? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Sue.
That I will say that concern has been looked at as we're trying to get what is the entire use of the development. Early indications are, and once again, we'll drill down on it, would be less than what Schaefer used historically when they were operating the coal plants. So between the seats, and if Brian or Vince want to speak to that, that's fine. Or if in general you can understand that that's from what I understand.
So you want to talk about decrease. So again, we're not going to exceed what the permit limits are. The proposed CCGT is 20 million gallons a day. The current design is for about 47 million gallons a day. That's 59% less water. It's unlikely that the CCGT and the coal plant are going to run at the same time. And if they do, it would only be 17, 18, but that would require that 202C order to continue into, was it 29? 29, so unlikely. The amount of water we've mentioned that the data center is likely to use is between 8 and 10 million gallons a day. We can
A
provide.
day or,
I'm sorry, you're right, a year.
Okay.
8 and 10, so, right, because we talk in millions of gallons a day. They're using 8 to 10 million gallons a year. Thank you for correcting me.
just don't want that to go sideways.
Yes, no, that's, yeah, that would be all on me. We can supply that water directly from the intake settling basin without taking any additional water off of the river. I mentioned we hold 80 million gallons of water in that intake settling basin.
So just, I want to interrupt you real quick.
Yep.
So the one comment was brought out. What if other large users start accessing water from the river? Does IDEM or DNR have limited use of the river as a whole?
So the permit that NIPSCO has to withdraw from the river is unique. DNR has told us this. We're the only one that has a permit on the river. All of the other water uses in the state are just water registrations. You're required to register if you're using over 100,000 gallons a day. So what we have again is very, very unique, and we have some limits on there for when there's droughts. Right. And that was specifically put in during the 80s when there was concern about low water. Since that permit was issued in the 80s, there's only been 2 times that the water in the river has been reduced to that amount where we've had to trigger some curtailments in what we were withdrawing from the river. Some additional water. Yeah, I think the 59%. Water withdrawal needs, I got some per megawatt numbers. We do discharge less water with the CCGT. It's less water and it's cleaner. So there's a movement within the EPA to go to a zero liquid discharge. So this is a movement towards that. So we talk about the constituents that might be in the water that we're discharging. We're discharging less water. Total volume is about 80% less water. So that's a benefit to the environment.
Brian, can you speak on it today at the 47 million gallon that coal has used at its peak? If you're withdrawing and using 47 million gallon in a 24-hour period, how much are you discharging? So we can get an understanding of what we're losing to evaporation.
So I can say it in a different way. I don't have the actual discharge volumes, but I can tell you what the water consumption is. So the water consumption is 18.4 million gallons a day, and that's lost in steam both through the evaporation in the cooling tower, as well as what might be lost off of the ponds. Yep.
Okay. Do you expect that to go up or go down with the combined cycle?
Water consumption with the combined cycle, design to design. Again, this is with everything that was running, will go down by 16%.
Okay. Okay.
And if you look at that on a per megawatt basis, because the CCGT produces more power than Schaefer coal, it's 37% less per megawatt.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's take one more comment. And then we need to continue on with the other business. If there is one. Okay. Sincerely, thank you. Oh, okay.
Bless you.
All right.
Barbara Nyhauser, 4946 East State Road 14, Francisville, Indiana. I am in Gillum Township though. Just had a question. There's a data center law that came in place, the Indiana Data Center Tax Incentive, and it offers tax exemptions on energy and equipment for new data centers built in Indiana for up to 50 years, which was the longest exemption period in any state when it was passed. Servers, routers, wiring, software, and other equipment are exempt from the business personal property tax and state sales tax. Electricity purchases also are exempt from state sales tax. So this was from an article from the Times written by Joseph Pete, 1824. So we talked a lot about the economy and, needing to bring it in, but there's that, like a data center is a lot. That's about the data centers, the servers, routers, wiring, software is the data center. And then all the electricity that they use is now not getting, has exemptions for up to 50 years. And I know Commissioner Hilton talked about 50 years. I'm not sure I'll be alive in 50 years. I will probably expire before these tax exemptions expire. Just saying. But anyway, to me, that's an awful lot of tax exemptions for such a large corporation. And I know you talked about the economy. So, to me, this is not going to help our economy at all in Jasper County. And I wondered if you had a comment about that.
Well, that's, you're talking about sales tax there in some aspects and business personal property tax, right? All decisions that were made at the State House, that's kind of out of our realm there.
Yeah.
We can weigh in just as you are now with our opinions on it.
Yeah. But still, that means they're not going to be paying, and the rest of us are going to have to
I think that's where
continue
you
to
see
pay
the influx of the data centers coming to Indiana. The state of Indiana has made it very popular to site data centers in this state. That's what they want. They want the investment. They want the AV growth in the state. And to someone's point, I believe it was you, sir, that said there's 72 planned projects or proposed projects. That doesn't happen by chance, right? There's a reason for that. This is one of the most advantageous states to site a data center. So it's a matter of where can you get it stuck?
Because they don't have to pay tax, but the rest of us are all paying tax. So to me, it's going to get to the point where we're going to get saturated, and the rest, all of us little people are going to be broke.
Well, let's hope that's not the case. Not too many of them have stuck so far that have been proposed. There's been a few, but I think that's where we're at. It's not just us. We went to commissioners conference in December.
Yeah.
And it was every county down there, whereas being inundated with either still following up with wind, solar, or data center was the conversation. So,
well, I think it'd be plausible to put in a moratorium until the state can get this fixed and they pay what everybody else is paying, because I don't think people would be quite as upset as what they are about everything if they were paying their fair share, because they're not paying their fair share when they're getting all of these tax exemptions.
Well, and that is one of the things currently, the way things set, we actually have the ability to leverage some agreements that will get us the revenue we need. Those incentives are from the state, but what we're talking about long-term revenue streams that won't necessarily be based on just the taxes we collect. And I will say this, we're taking a different posture than we did when wind and solar were kind of dumped in our lap. We have the opportunity here to exercise a bit of leverage. And that's why we're taking it so to heart, because we actually have the opportunity to leverage income for the county to benefit the taxpayers, unlike the other projects. And if, once again, I know some are going to think, oh, I've already made up my mind. No, I am trying to weigh in all the possibilities here. And at the end, essentially do a Ben Franklin decision in my mind. What are the pros? What are the cons? How does it weigh out?
Well, I'm just saying my recommendation would be that we need a moratorium until they're paying their fair share. Then they can come back.
Well,
and
moratoriums have been limited at the state level to only a year. And once you do one, you can't do another one. So because counties were throwing moratoriums out like parade candy. And unfortunately, that we got slapped back on that.
Well, I think we should utilize our 1-year moratorium then.
I appreciate your opinion on that. But in the meantime,
until the next major topic comes around, we wish we had it in our back pocket to use.
Right.
That's.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm holding out that they pay the fair share like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If we'd put a moratorium on solar, we wouldn't be able to use it now. So.
Okay. Thank you all for your.
I got a quick question, Reen.
Okay.
So the way I understand it, there was more information that was presented after the commission meeting.
Right.
Why wasn't that presented at our plan commission meeting? And is this even the same application if they've presented new information to you guys and the plan commission didn't even get to review that stuff? I'm just kind of, as a plan commission member, I'm kind of confused why, usually an application that somebody comes in, they present the information and then that proceeds to the next step. But we've got a bunch of new information here that the plan commission didn't even get a chance to review or look at or anything along those lines. And I guess I'm just a little confused by that as a plan commission member. And why is that being presented to you guys? And why wasn't that presented to the plan commission when we had our plan commission meeting and made our decision? I mean, I'm a little confused and curious why the new information now, why wasn't that presented back at the original meeting?
Well, I think that was the result of us asking further questions, because ultimately the final decision does rest with the commissioners. So we understand what your recommendation was unfavorable at this time. We also recognize that through statute, the state has essentially given the commissioners the authority to dig deeper into a project if we don't deem it necessary to consider the override of the plan commission. Now, as you know, that's a very rare thing. It doesn't happen, and probably hasn't happened in a very long time. So that would be why, just because of the time frame involved, now that the recommendation got kicked to us, we have the 90 days as opposed to restarting the clock on all of it. So that would be why we have the ultimate decision is on our necks. So that's why we have asked the questions to get more information, to get more clarity, to follow up with what your concerns were.
Yeah. And I'm, again, just curious why that wasn't presented to us, because that might have gave us more information on the actual topic then. And now, again, it looks like they're kind of scrambling around to get some more things to you that they probably should have provided at the first step of this thing.
Well, and I think too, some of that came from questions at the plan commission.
Okay.
Where's this at? You're supposed to have this plan. To your point, when you made the motion, is you're not ready. You don't have everything here for us now. So they provided that stuff now to be ready for us, right?
So that's an incomplete application presented to the plan commission if they're changing it, giving it to the commissioners, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Thank you, Vince, for that. I do know one of the topics we recognized needed to get cleaned up regards to the peaker, wasn't it? Was it the drainage plan?
Drainage plan.
Correct.
So we understand. So we're mindful of your responsibilities and authority of your office. So thank you, Vince.
There's been a lot of post conversations, obviously, since that meeting that, like I said, I think it was before you even came into the room, they've been extremely forthcoming on. To the same point I made earlier, we're only looking to get information from them on CCGTs and their peaker project. That's the only thing I'm looking at right now. I want somebody with information based on the other topic to come to the table and sit in front of us and present, because as these gentlemen well know, with the information been provided, I am becoming more and more comfortable with what their projections and plans are. I mean, I've got documentation sitting here in front of me, measurements right down to the foot away from the road. I mean, you name it, it's yes. And
don't you think that would have been important for all of us to have at the point?
And I think we've spoken numerous times directly through Zoom calls, and I've expressed that a multitude of times with them. It's like, you should have started this off on the right foot back in October, and they have admitted that. In fact, tonight they have admitted that numerous times, or this morning they have admitted that. So
that's just my comment.
I guess Vince, I just want you to know that we're well aware of your concerns, and we have been communicating them. We don't ever want you to feel like you're boxed out of the situation.
No, and I'm not saying that. I just see a lot more information that I feel like should have been presented to the whole plan.
I think that's been, to Ryan's point, that's been part of the learning process. This is new territory for all of us. And I think they've taken some points to learn, and we're obviously learning along the way.
They know collectively, we, Jasper County leadership, are paying attention.
Okay.
And I think that's been echoed a multitude of times from us. I think you guys can echo the same fact. We are attentive to the details.
Well, it sounds like they've taken it to heart too, as Vince said in his beginning statement, that they're bringing on somebody now that's going to do this. This is what they're going to do for NIPSCO everywhere, right? So they'll be able to proceed.
It was mentioned that the economy is evolving, and I think attention to these small details is part of the evolution of the process going forward. Things that maybe once kind of just got swept aside or just not that big a deal, everything's a big deal. So we're learning that. Okay. Thank you again, for everyone. You're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting. Won't be as exciting as that necessarily, but thank you for your attention. Next up, we need to, you guys need a break at all? We'll take a 5-minute break.
Where's that documentary?
Investment policy.
Oh, from Tim? From Tammy?
Tammy's got it. I said,
She said you didn't sign that.
Yeah.
Tell her to recheck her paper.
She gave us the.
Yeah, because we had signed a paper.
That's it. Well, okay, maybe.
She gets
everything.
Well, check and see if you have an investment policy or if they sign another one if nothing else.
I have the investment.
Well,
Good job.
they did.
25.
Okay.
The investment policy.
That's one. That's the one.
And we signed that.
Yeah.
And she gave us a legal document size.
Yeah.
Paper that was signed.
Yes.
I sent it back.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so that. Okay. Yeah, makes no sense.
Yes.
Missions too.
Last night.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. Especially. Whatever. I got.
I know he wants to be looking back there, but
Yeah.
he's in there.
Mhm.
Well, my. Sequence like say. It's a sure that we can fight it. They can get engagement on that. You have to lock somebody out there. Right. Bob, they don't. Just about all early. He's like, they should be that. They should be that.
Right.
It's more itself. It's on the other side where his house is. He wants the buy more chance to remember that. And that's a, I know, because his other one died. It died on it, so.
How that thing went down for all these years.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he doesn't, so yeah, Herb doesn't even. It's probably never said anything to him, but.
Well, I just noticed last night, I was looking, I wonder if that would be, when we talked to you, when Judy. They were the ones that.
And he was like, no restriction. How about you?
Oh.
Upset around. But then they were that one behind him, they were there, broke. And then you've got the brush on the other side. It's full of I've been snooping through there the last few weeks.
We go for a ride just to.
Yeah.
Look at the herd.
Yeah.
We there.
Yeah. Got it.
Did everybody hate or is.
Yeah.
I did a map like.
It was going with that.
Right.
Said.
Yeah.
And he said. I said, Steve, I'm not a farmer, I just want to. And it's totally with it. But yeah, so, yeah, so yeah, our meeting should be pretty quick, actually. It's just, we don't really have anything. So we should be done.
That's
Or we're not.
No.
Okay, they're just taking. Yeah.
We could take it back, make another copy, so you got one, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. I think they're prepared. They say one thing, they say the other thing, just like.
Well, for sure.
They're just.
They think they just. Correct.
You know, and
Yeah.
other members.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know, you know, it's one of them.
Makes perfect village. Worry about the future. That's later. That's the conflict. That's right. That's right.
You know,
That's right.
and, you know, I had dozens of people at that meeting.
Yeah, like normal size meeting.
Maybe you also that meeting, we're just like. Oh, I'm just like. We're gonna be. We're gonna be. I'll not be able to say.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whichever.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's kind of.
Get up there.
Okay, we're gonna continue our meeting now. Thank you. All right, next up, we have to open up the bids for our bituminous emulsified asphalt and various supplies and materials. We have how many bids here?
I'm not sure. A lot.
A lot?
Quite a few.
All right. Yeah, thanks to Cynthia.
We have a packed bag.
Oh, we're losing the handle on it. Put a screw in there. All right. Jack, you'll have to probably hold my hand again. Usually remind me what I'm supposed to read and not read.
Okay, let me start off first. Unless you put wheel tax on, we can't afford any of that.
You'd be talking to Mr. Jordan over there, I think would be.
Look to the right.
Yeah, I got some counsel back there. All right. Okay, this is from Wonderland Tire. Ed, what do you need me to read?
If you want, just give me the price of 11R 22.5H.
11R 22.5H.
That would be a drive tire for a tandem.
R 22.5, $320.03, installed 97.25. It's a Hankook AH 3714 ply.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else from them?
No, that's fine. We got one.
I'll let you repackage the gifts.
You bet.
Actually, Ryan, I think I'm gonna have you pre-open these.
You got myself.
Well, just be careful. That way I can just read them. There's your weapon.
I will comment. So.
The handle is kind of loose. All right, next, Top Line Trucking. Hauling limestone, $675 per ton. Freight only.
Got sand on there.
Well. Just says determined as needed by county, hauling limestone, $675 per ton, freight only hauling limestone Jasper County Highway Department from U.S. Aggregates Francisville for Hanson Materials.
Yeah.
675 ton freight only. I don't see anything about
Okay, they might have another one in for that.
stand.
That's fine.
Okay. Is there another top line?
I'm just going
Okay.
numerically.
Oh, yeah, here's another top line. This is stone sales. Okay, INDOT 23 sand from Landmark Materials, 1925 per ton. 25 tons equals 48,125.
Thank you.
There's check in there from them as well. Also top line trucking. This would be for hauling limestone, 875 per ton, freight only, hauling limestone to Jasper County Highway Department at Demont. From U.S. Aggregates, Francisville, 875 per ton, freight only. This one next or this one?
That one was next. Pick them up the top.
Bitmat Products.
Give me you have a PG 64-22?
PG 64-22, $575 per ton. Anything else?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm sure on that.
All right, Beam Starber Aggregates. Beam Starber. Thank you. What do you need from them, Ed?
What was that, Beamster bore?
Beam Starber, yeah.
It'd just be slag sand.
Slag sand.
I mean, I'm in 22, right? In 24. They don't show any sand.
What's it got?
2s, 5s, 8s, 9s, 11s, 53s, 73s, and B wrap.
You got 3 of them from them, so it's probably.
Oh,
Yeah, so just give me 73.
73s? 750?
Thank you.
Here's your sand.
Oh, okay, sand, all right. Same company, sand. $825, Class A. INDOT 24 sand. Another one from Beams to Bore. This is a freight net per ton, 1850. To the Jasper County Highway Garage, to the Demont lot, $18. Excuse me. All right, Maddox and Sons. $350 case excavator, 200 per hour, 330 cat excavator, 200 per hour cat dozer, 150 per hour. So it's machinery rental. Asphalt materials.
Yeah, give me the PG 64-22.
PG 64-22 is the county storage 514.84, and same at the job site, 514.84.
And is there an AE 90 on there?
AE 90, 2.084 for both storage and job site.
Thank you.
Central paving chip seal.
Envelope. Thank you.
Central paving. $5,000 tons more or less bituminous emulsified asphalt, 32 cents per gallon. Anything else off from them?
Do you have the total of the applied rate for calcium chloride?
Yes, chloride's in the next one.
Different envelope, sorry.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, calcium chloride, 70,000 gallons more or less. 38%, $1.27 per gallon. State price per gallon truckload lots delivered, 34 cents per gallon. Liquid calcium furnished and applied at any point Jasper County is specified, $1.61 per gallon.
Thank you.
US aggregates,
73s would be fine.
73s, all right. Got the right one here. $73, $10.50.
Is that Francisville, Lowell, Lona, let's say?
Okay. Francisville, okay.
1050.
Lowell 73 is $13.15. Anything else from them?
That's fine.
Good. Thank you. Last one?
Last one.
All right. Rogers Group.
73s will be fine again.
All right. '73s, 975. 150,000 tons more or less.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So if I recall, we're to make a motion and approve accepting all bids.
Yes.
So would one of you gentlemen want to move and make the motion to approve or to accept all bids as presented?
Make a motion to accept all bids.
Ryan makes the motion to accept all bids. Do I have a second?
Support.
Supported by Craig. All in favor of accepting all bids as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All right, those are accepted. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Ed. Okay, now back to regularly scheduled program. We need to approve the payroll claim distribution. Check date 12/15/2025, $512,751.16. Check date of 12/30/2025, $528,008.55. Report total, including withholdings, $1,040,759.71. Would one of you gentlemen move and make the motion to approve payroll claim distribution as presented?
I'd move to approve.
Support.
Craig makes the motion, supported by Ryan. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those are approved. My understanding is Sheriff Williamson is on the agenda, but does not need to be here. Is that what you guys understand as well?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, we'll move on. Next up, we have Coroner Andy Boersma. Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to give you guys a note. You guys know what we ended on, but the community does not. I try to keep you guys posted as throughout the year as how things are going. We did end the year with 101 coroner's cases, of which we autopsied 23, I believe. So not quite 25% was done. Not really to the state's satisfaction. They would like to see us do 100%, but I don't think that.
How does that, how does that number fall historically? Is that approximately what you end up doing, or is it
Yeah,
just kind of?
that's pretty much approximately, you know, I mean, we look at a lot of times as to the incident and what the incident demands and some of the things that we do, it's just logistical as far as what the state requires. You know, if it's somebody under the age of 18, then they require it to be done regardless of the incident, unless the person's being seen by two physicians and two physicians are willing to confer with the coroner that we don't have to do the autopsy. So we completed that the year with 101 calls. So just so that you guys have an idea, something the sheriff and I did talk about. And right now we have an administrative assistant that he and I share under the building at the north end. And it hasn't become a logistical problem, but it is something that we talked about moving that from his item line to my item and just have her under one boss rather than having two different people to make decisions of when she's working, when she's not working. And so the sheriff has also more or less turned that building. We still do things for him there. The guys still use it, and we're going to continue for that to happen. But we've taken over the telephone bill since we're the one that's making a lot more calls than what he does out of there. And they had a wireless internet thing up in the ceiling. And so we've just more or less moved that from them to us, and they called up to NetNetCo and put me on it as the administrator so that we can make decisions on that. And so trying to streamline things so that state reports aren't backlogged and not getting to where they need to get to on a timely fashion, because most of them get emailed and most of them go encrypted, and a lot of times it's a pretty good size file. So it was better to have a hard line, and the hard line was already there. NetCo had put the hard line in a couple of years ago. And so when they changed the phone system up there, so we were just able to piggyback off to that and get it all in under one facility, under one name. So again, if we do move Teresa or whoever the administrative assistant is, we'll still continue to do the things that the sheriff requires to have done, because she's a sworn officer for me. So she'll still give out police reports and golf cart permits and four-wheeler permits and all that kind of stuff, even though we'll still utilize that. The officers will still be able to utilize that building for lunch and whatever they want to do. They do have some dog training stuff up there that they want to extract out of that building and bring it down here and put it in the new, I call it the mini Mac out here by the fireplace, by the fire department, so they can train their dogs in a more logistical, buildings and things like that. I'm all for that. I offered them an enclosed trailer to move that stuff if that's what they needed. So we're kind of moving along. We ended the year, we had a little cash flow left over, so we bought some shelving and put up shelving to get stuff off the floor. So the cardboard's not, pulling moisture off the floor, and we were able to get that stuff put up there. I invited Commissioner Hilton to stop by the other day, but he was busy with having a very large industrial luncheon. So, and his size, he can stand to use a little luncheon every once in a while. Unlike me and Commissioner Standish, we don't need that luncheon that much, so.
Coffee's enough.
So anyhow, that's where we're at. If you guys have any questions at the moment, they were just, we've already had our number one case for the year, which you're aware of already, so.
So I was reading, I'm gonna borrow your book here. In the, do you get the?
Yes, I just got that in the mail.
Yeah, so I was reading through the various offices of the departments, coroner being one of them.
Yes.
When do you guys have to do your annual trainings that you?
Our annual
Talking
training,
about?
our annual training is set in June.
Okay.
It's a 3-day conference in Indianapolis. And we're fortunate enough that our annual training, unlike a lot of you go to training, the county pays for that training. Our county pays our people to go to that training because if they were an employee, they would go. But the training for the coroners is paid for by the state of Indiana. Every death certificate that is filed in the state, and I don't just mean one, I'm not talking about if Mr. Smith dies, there's one death certificate filed, but if Mr. Smith dies and his wife gets 10 death certificates, every death certificate that is printed by the county, $2.50. It is 50 cents yet, isn't it? Yeah. $2.50 from the local health department goes to the coroner's training board. And that pays for our training and for our room and board, our room, and they usually have one banquet meal for all of us at some point. So we are there for the duration of that. There is a closed session meeting in that it is only for the 92 county coroners or their proxy. And that is a sequestered room for us to make decisions on the good of the association or good of the coroners. I'm not sure if you saw, or maybe you heard in December that the state has got some harebrained idea that they want to eliminate well, let's just say out of the constitutional offices, they just want to elect the sheriff and elect the clerk of the circuit court. Everybody else would be non-elected. They would be appointed by it's a joint resolution that they're trying to meander their way through at the moment. And I don't think that's a wise decision, but again, as things move forward, if we have to, we'll have to start calling our legislators and make sure that in our county, I wouldn't worry about that because I think we have a pretty good group of people that can make wise decisions. But in Lake County, that wouldn't be a good idea. And I'm not saying anything derogatory, but I just don't think that's a wise decision for.
Yeah, that seems like a bit of an overreach.
Yes.
Yeah.
To remove that from the people,
Yeah.
that would be kind of an ignorant thing to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Anything else? Okay. All right. Thank you, Andy. I always appreciate your dedication.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. This makes 27 years now.
Oh my. All right. You're just a youngster.
No, he's officially retired.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but he's still.
All right. I need to roll back. We didn't do the prepay claims, so sorry about that. Let me roll back to that one. Prepays of $64,778.28. Health insurance, $65,512.14. Report total of $130,290.42. So as presented, would one of you want to move and make the motion to approve prepay claims?
Make a motion to approve the prepays.
Support.
All right, motion made by Ryan, supported by Craig. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay. All right, next up, we have a couple bonds we need to do. One's the INDOT bond that was involved with our sidewalk project, as I recall. And believe, Stace, do you have? And then we have our employee bonds. That's just what we do.
INDOT bond will eventually be able to cancel once INDOT signs off sidewalk, but we had to renew it that limit till INDOT signs off. Once they do, we'll prorate that.
Okay, yeah. It was gonna carry over till what, March or something like that?
So that time, that's what it is. We have a follow up there.
wanted to make sure the concrete hardened, I guess. So, okay, so we have these two bonds here. Would one of you gentlemen move and make the motion to approve these as presented?
I move to approve the bonds.
Support.
Motion made by Craig, supported by Ryan. Any further discussion? Not all in favor as presented, say aye.
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 Right. We're approved. Anything else, Stace, while we're kind of talking insurance and stuff, we need to hear from you?
Not on the insurance, but on Main Street, real quick update on the Christmas lights at the courthouse. We ran into a bunch of IT issues on the computers on those projectors, so I worked with the company back and forth. They sent us a bunch of parts. We went back and forth. And in the end, right now, I'm waiting on their numbers to see if they're going to send somebody up to fix them or if we're going to send them back and have them replace it and send us a whole new one. No cost to Main Street. So another ask I have is I'd like to keep those up there for just a little bit longer, just to see if the company's going to come up. I'd rather have them fix them where they're actually at and make sure they work. But if I'm going to just send them back, I'm going to take them down. But so request if I could leave those up there for a little bit longer till I find out what's going on. And two, if we could for next year, work on getting a timer on those lights that go around the courthouse, because even we were able to get them up a little bit, but the lights shining on the courthouse has still made it very hard to see.
Yeah, we've got to get, we had talked to Charlie and Rod about that, but we need a little more time to plan for that. So that's good. Good point. We'll get that taken care of.
Yeah. So if we could work on that for next year, and if I could have a little more time just to have those up there.
We leave the projector up, and then if IU wins the national title, you can project it. I know the Purdue fans may not be too thrilled. No. You're saying no?
No.
I'm a Purdue grad. So good luck.
Red, white for Valentine's Day. Is that
No.
That's still
It's way too much correlation.
The only thing I would ask Stace is if the sandbags and things are still up there on the stoop, if you could remove those.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And we're not going to use the projector screen again. That didn't work. So we will get it was just too cold to get those. We will get those taken care of shortly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yes, he can leave me up. So
Yes,
I don't think
leave
we need a formal, you have the consensus,
All right.
leave it up till you need to. So
That's all I had, unless you guys had any questions or insurance or Main Street.
but we'll talk about some graphics later on. I'm just saying.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
Just kidding.
Ryan, I'm a Purdue grad. I'm a Purdue grad. It's never going to happen.
Okay. All right. Never mind. Okay. All right. Looking at board appointments. We had a few people I've talked to have indicated they're okay. I haven't heard any pushback from anybody necessarily. Have you guys specifically?
We've got one plan commission member who does not want to re-sign. That's Justin Rotaball.
Okay, confirmed that.
Confirm that.
So we will need to seek to get a successor for him on that position.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Do you think that's something we can approve everybody except for him and have somebody ready to go for the 20th?
I would be in favor of that.
Okay. All right. Craig?
I think there's a couple here that, sick leave bank. One of the people on that is not here anymore and the other one is retiring. So I think we got to do something there too.
Yeah. Let's see, where's that? Which one's that?
Top of the last page.
Yep.
Top of the last page.
And I don't know here if I don't have a problem with that, but.
Oh, leave it. No, I think she's probably fine at that position.
But the other one's the sick leave bank needs addressed.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. And to Diana's concern, yes, we are actively looking to try to get the HR situation filled to get that off your neck. So hopefully we'll have that here in the next.
I had a call yesterday, so
30 or 60 days
progress.
All right, so we'll get there.
Okay.
All right, we are. We guess
Guys, I'm gonna send phone calls.
I know you're good. I'm aware of that. Okay, do we want to just run down the top and go through it?
Sure.
Okay, so Bonnie Partine for the Alcohol Beverage Board. You guys okay with reappointing her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right, and reappoint Brooke Sherrick for Animal Control
Yes.
Yes.
Attorney President. She was, so she's done a good job. Alex Hamilton.
Yes.
I think we should definitely keep him in that. He's done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy
Yes.
Burkett,
Yep.
excellent. Dr. Mallory, yes.
Yes.
Shelley Conley,
Yes.
yes. And Lita Fedor, she's done a good job. Yes. So, okay. We'll just name all these and then we'll just make a motion to approve.
Go
at
by
the
the
end.
page.
Okay. Lou Nagel for Arrowhead Country RC&D Commission. I think he's still willing to do that. Board of Zoning Appeals, Kent Korniak. I don't think we're gonna let him out of it, so he does a good job. Citizens Advisory on Land Application. We have Rob, is that Buter?
Buter.
Okay, Noah Hook and Chad Healy. So I think
Yes.
those guys are all good. Karen to continue with EMA. I'll have to bring it up next community corrections meeting. We know we have a vacancy, so we'll have to get somebody there, but Claudia Dabowski, I think we can continue with her. Charlie and Rod doing a great job. I think we continue with those guys. Attorney Eric Beaver, he's sitting here, but I think he's done a good job. Excellent. Ryan, are you willing to stay on the Fair Board?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Health Board. As far as you know, everyone willing to stay in their positions on the Health Board?
Yeah.
Who's the vacancy? So Dan Perkins?
Does that have a political tag to it too? For Dan's position? Republican or Democrat? Which one is it? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be doing this again real soon, so that's fine.
It looks like it'd be an R because you got two Ds on the list already.
Okay.
That's a guess.
So we will have suitable candidate, you think, for
We can surely look for something for the
20th,
20th,
for the 20th?
21st. Sure.
Okay. All right.
I'll be getting with you to figure out what those are. Thank you.
All right. So between now and the 20th, we'd like to get that resolved so we can make that board, but the other ones we can go ahead and approve then. So Roberta Jeffries, Anita Reed, Stephen Vukovic, Roberta Gutwein, and Dr. Davis.
I thought we'd changed our mind to the 21st on the meeting because.
Oh, 21st, I'm sorry. You're right.
I didn't want anybody to get.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It'll be Wednesday, the 21st.
Yeah.
And I'll clear my comment on the Ds versus Rs. There's currently two Ds and one R on the list. I believe it's supposed to be equal.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So they have that. Okay. All right. Keep that in mind then. Ed Kane, I think, is in good position to
He
continue
doesn't
on.
get to go anywhere.
Thank you, Ed, by the way. Nice job. Jasper County Economic Development Commission. So we've had Steve on there. That may be one we need to cycle back around on. You know, because I don't think that has been very active. So let's
Yeah, and I'm not too sure he wants to be involved.
yeah, we'll hold that one for
I can talk to him tomorrow.
we'll hold that one for the 21st.
Yeah.
Okay. Redevelopment Commission, Jill Duttlinger, Travis Gutwein, Ann Cecile Egan, and Timothy Donley.
Fine.
Yep, I think those are. Tourism Commission, Janelle Mush, Susie Howard, and Randy Rattler. I believe they're all very active and engaged. We'll keep them. Well,
Somebody have a contact information to reach out to her.
I do not. See if I do. Want to keep going down the line and I'll see if I can.
Okay.
For curb seed, Jeff DeYoung was on there. Has he been?
I've not seen him in a meeting all year.
Are you willing to continue there?
Yes.
All right.
Let me keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yankee River Basin Commission, Vince Urbano. Yes.
Fine.
Northwest Indiana Solid Waste District, Reen Bontrager, Craig Standish.
Yeah, sure. And by default, if we can't make it, we can rope you in. So
thanks, guys.
And Steve Jordan goes too. They're happy for any officials.
All the help they can get. Yeah. Plan Commission, Justin Rotorball is not seeking a re-up, and Kent Korniak for president. As a member. Planning and Development, Mary Shirk, director, Kelly Standish, secretary. You guys don't get to go anywhere either. Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals, Scott Barton, Donald Putt. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Public Defender Board, Richard Maxwell.
Yeah, I believe he's still
Yeah.
interested to stay active there. Yeah.
Rensselaer Disabilities Commission, Marietta Stowers.
Good with that.
Yes.
Okay. Review Board for Common Nuisance, Scott Barton. Yes.
Yep.
Sick Leave Bank, we've got a refill. Town of Mont Plan Commission, John Van Soest. Yes.
Has he been active in the part of that?
Yeah, meetings I've attended, he's been there.
Okay. All right.
Veteran Service, Tim Flynn.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Northwest Indiana Workforce Board, Scott Mayenbrook. Minebrook and Tom Fleming.
Yep.
Yes. All right, so we'll approve with the ones except that are in question, which would be Steve Torbett, Jeff DeYoung, Janelle Mush, I think are we'll have to find the vacancy for the health board and for, sick leave bank, yeah. But for the plan commission.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll need to find a replacement for Janelle. You guys were correct. All right. All right, so with those that have been noted, would one of you want to move and make the motion to approve the ones that have been confirmed to be able to continue?
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Motion made by Craig, supported by Ryan. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
And we will put those outstanding board positions on for the 21st.
Correct.
Thank you. All right. Eric, we're ready for you.
I do have the ambulance contracts drafted for 2026 using the numbers that have been approved by the council with appropriations that are larger amounts. From one year to the next, the only thing I changed with the contracts are the years to make sure that the years are correct. Although one of those last year I didn't get correct, but in any event, we're doing it a little differently this year with installment payments on the 15th of each month, more or less. And that would be with the prepaid claims process so that the entities can receive a check in January and they not receive 2 checks in December. And putting it at the 15th of the month allows those claims to be approved during the next regular meeting. And so that should be before the second commissioners meeting of December. And that's permissible under the prepaid claims ordinance and state law.
Okay. Yeah, I think thank you for your input on that, Diana, as well. I think the EMS services will appreciate being able to have their funding come at regular intervals throughout the year. And so that'll be great. All right. Any questions for Attorney Beaver regarding the ambulance contracts, or you're willing to move and make the motion to approve as presented with the corrections and updates that he has made?
Paragraph 8, I believe, is where the amounts are.
Yeah, I can read that. Okay, all right. All right, so the contracted amounts for this year. This one for Keener. This is Wheatfield.
700,000.
Wheatfield is 700,000. Which amounts to $58,333.33 each month. And then for, oh, is that Keener?
No, that was Wheatfield.
Okay, that's Wheatfield. You're correct.
I have 2 of each.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Makes sense. We need to sign 2 copies each, is what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay. And then Keener. We have down here at 700,000.
You sure about that? That's not right. I think it's 775.
Yeah. I think that should have
Payable
been
equal months.
I believe
I wouldn't rule out a typo on my part. My
Okay.
apologies.
Yeah, Wheatfield was 700. Keener was 775. And JCEMS is. Oh, wait. Stop.
CMS should be 1.1 million.
Yeah, so you have 775 in the Jasper County EMS one, and it needs to be 1.1 million.
Okay.
So the number needs corrected on.
Yeah. Jasper County EMS and Keener both need to be revised.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You're
Okay.
just
Yes.
one off.
I know I typed them correctly at one point, but then I was having computer issues.
Okay,
Based on the copies you have sent, that's what I'm looking at is email right now. So
right. All right, so to clarify, Wheatfield, 700,000, Keener, 775,000, and Jasper County EMS, 1.1 million. All right. We can sign a signature page, and we'll just need that amounts page corrected so that the entities can also sign. So
I'll do that right now.
okay, all right. You've heard the contract amounts. You're familiar with that? Would one of you gentlemen want to move and make the motion to approve contracts with the corrected amounts?
make a motion to approve with the corrected amounts.
Okay, Ryan makes the motion.
Support.
Supported by Craig. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Pass that one over there. There you go. Do that one.
Sorry.
Do that one. You. Yep. Well, there it is. Okay. Okay, next then, Eric, you want to talk about the RUA with the Ozinga?
Yes, I drafted a road use agreement using a template that we've negotiated previously for low intensity uses of the roads. It does not involve destroying the roads and rebuilding them. That centers on an approved route along with any necessary permitting for use of the roads. And then also approving a route. And so this has to do with Ozinga's project in the vicinity of County Road 430 East and Division Road, just south of 14, near the county line on the east side of the county. And it would include authorization to travel on 430 East from 14 to Division. And then from Division from 430 East to 450 East. On 450 East between Division and 30 South. 30 South between 450 East and 600 East. And then 600 East between 30 South and 114. So this is a couple mile loop. And that was based on the document Ed had provided yesterday with the road conditions.
I think when you look at the video there, Ed's on 430 East at the entrance to their plant for a short term to Division Road. We don't want them to use 430 East from that entrance north to State Road 14. So they'd be 600 East south of State Road 14 to 30 South across where it mates up with Division Road, and then on 430 East they could go north again for 100 yards, 150 yards through their entrance.
Right, to the facility. This is just,
but not north to 14.
no, this is just a proposed route, so they stick to that route. They're not on other routes.
We want to keep them off 430 East as much of it as we can.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
that keeps them all on, for the most part, completely on pavement too. They're not on a gravel road except for that little short piece of 430 East. So,
okay. Yes, because you're just speaking of deliveries to.
Yes. Yep. So we'll have to amend that to make that right.
Yeah. So the top item on Exhibit 1, which is the second to last page, I will.
Okay. So you're all very familiar with this. This is did you catch this, Craig, or did somebody point it out?
I was actually called. I was called by a neighbor and went over and witnessed on a Saturday.
So they're hauling to be able to inject in the gas line from the dairies. Is that what they're doing?
So there's a tap, if you will, in NIPSCO's gas line on Division Road and 430 East, where natural gas that is in excess of what the dairy produces from their methane conversion is then sold to and injected into the natural gas line that everybody here uses. There is a facility outside of Jasper County that produces natural gas but does not have an injection point. So they are hauling that natural gas by truck,
tanker truck,
to that spot and tapping into it and injecting it into the NIPSCO's natural gas line. So, and like say on a Saturday, I was there for 45 minutes and 4 semis went by. So it's a 24-hour day, 7-day a week process that is supposed to end, according to my conversation with the Ozinga gentleman, September at the latest of this year. They're going to have a tap at the facility that's making the natural gas now, but they won't have to truck it. So they'll be able to tap straight into it as the dairies do now. So good interim, I guess, and definitely
good catch. Thanks to the citizen who got it and let you know.
Yeah.
So would one of you want to move and make the motion to approve the RUA with the proposed amendments to the route as talked about?
I'll make a motion to approve pending the amendments.
And
Ryan makes the motion.
Oh, yeah. I can also add that there's no frost law exemption. There's no overweight exemptions. There's no permits given by the agreement.
Okay.
None are really expected to be needed. And because of that, then they would apply for any permits through the regular process.
Right.
All right. Ryan made the motion. Craig, do I have support?
Support.
Supported by Craig. Any further discussion?
Would like to just say too, upon this being approved and everybody getting on board here, Ozinga and the county, the Ozinga will be responsible for Eric Beaver's fees to draw this up.
Yes. Yep.
So
very good.
It won't be on the taxpayer.
Yep. Very good. Thank you for pointing that out. We have a motion and a second. We've had further discussion. All in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. Two copies of that or just one? No, might be three copies.
Eric, if you would, when you get those amendments made to the roads, just let Ed see it and make sure we're on the same page with what.
Yep.
What we're wanting.
Yep.
That wasn't the intent.
From division to their side.
Yes, that's fine.
And, what's
East side of 430 east. Yep. Yep. We'll do the fuel contract starting up of the business then when we get to that point.
Next up, we have representatives here from Woven Hope, which is a new 501c3.
Yep, I can get that.
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't. Hold on. EDA. The EDA invoice. Oh, you did have a question about that. This is an invoice that we generate and give to NIPSCO to collect our economic development agreement payment for Duns 2, right? And we're at payment number 2.
Correct.
And we just reminded ourselves last year that this invoice needs to get out in a timely fashion to make sure that we get the money. So Eric has prepared that invoice and we will be getting it presented to the company. Anything else you'd like to weigh in on?
I had actually thought in seeing that was the for our wind deal with getting a request for funds, but this does jog my mind about the invoice that needs to go to NIPSCO to get the EDA payment. So I will look at that right away. And
okay. So this EDA invoice, you were thinking about needing the additional funding for construction compliance.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So, but this is the economic development payment under Duns Bridge 2 economic development agreement, which that process of, I believe, around $1 million or so is triggered by the county sending an invoice, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So that was done last year. It took a little bit of time, I think, for the responsive person with NIPSCO to receive what the county had sent, but we can make sure that that gets out sooner.
Yeah. And they sent it to the lockbox.
Yeah.
Are we able to do ACH then, or what are you thinking of? Or do we actually have to get a physical check?
I don't have a problem with it, but somebody else does.
Okay, so we need a check sent to the courthouse in care of the auditor. All right. Okay, so Eric, yeah, please make sure you get that done and then also follow through with the other funding request from EDP for construction compliance.
Yeah, we need, and I just had to talk with Jack about that. We'll get that, I think, maybe from Jake, is the amount that they need for the rest of the construction compliance services under that project.
Very good. Okay. Anything else while you've got the table, got the floor?
Nothing here.
Okay. All right. Now we can go to Woven Hope. So we have diligent workers and board members here to give us an update, and it appears they'll have a grant request for us.
Thank you for your time. As we presented a couple weeks ago, we are here asking for grant funds from the opioid grant. We are looking into securing a transition home. This transition home will be for women coming out of recovery programs. We have found statistics find that long-term, another step secures re-entry, reoffense, helps sustain them in a better community. So we are asking for $20,000. We have 2 potential houses at this time. We have not moved forward because obviously we're waiting on funds. This is not our only sustaining fund avenue. We're obviously, we have donors, sponsors. We are putting together mystery boxes and subscription boxes for full-time income to the nonprofit. So it's not something that we're just asking from you guys to sustain, but we are asking for it for this house. Sorry. There's some repairs to both potential homes that need to be made. And then of course there will be leasing costs to either one of the homes or both, depending on what we move forward with. So we're asking that we receive the funds from the opioid grant, as it will directly impact women who are striving to overcome addiction, reintegrate successfully into our community. We will oversee all aspects of the project, ensuring that the funds are used efficiently and transparently. Our mission is simple yet profound: to see lives restored, families reunited, and our community strengthened through faith, compassion, and practical support. This project will stand as a beacon of hope for women who have fought to break free from addiction and are now ready to walk forward in healing and in purpose. We have partnered with the Crisis Center and also the Work Release Program. And we will be getting women from both of those places to help further their commitment to being a constructive part of our community.
Okay. And what will your, from one of your two houses, what will your capacity be that you're able to work with?
One of them will be 3 women at a time. They will stay from any length of 6 months to a year. And the other one, it's looking like 4. If we do both, then that'll be the capacity of 7. So.
Okay.
What do you see, just for my own knowledge, what do you see your average success rate for individuals coming into that home for long-term?
Well, we're new, so I don't really have a statistic that has backing to give you. I can tell you that transitions produces, it enables a better outcome than not having it.
And during that time of, could you, I think you maybe talked about it last time, what are some of the training points or curriculum or?
We will be providing life skills training. We will be helping them move towards a better education, better job placement. Of course, supportive counseling services, which will be referrals. As we're not counselors, we will not be counseling, but we will be mentoring and helping them walk that path. Just a support for every area of life. We believe that we have so many good, wonderful systems in place, right? But it's this system does this part and this system does this part. We want to grab their hand and walk them through every system from the street to their own home.
So do you have people ready to go once your home is ready to go? Do you have your students selected or your?
We do have a couple potential ones already in the wings waiting. But again, we can't make any commitments until.
Right.
So we've kind of been waiting on getting, that in line.
And what's your hopeful timeline to actually get underway then?
If we receive the money, we have less than 30 days and we'll be 30 days at the max. We should be able to open a door. We have the people ready to do the work. It's just the finances.
Okay.
We've received all our bids. We know what we need to do to move forward.
Gotcha.
I guess remind me, are you guys located within Jasper County as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We have an office on Van Rensselaer Street that we're just not even really officially opened yet. But and then we will service Jasper County, yes.
Only?
That was my next question.
Because we work with the Crisis Center and they service 4 counties, we can't say that we only service Jasper County because some of those ladies have
servicing, it's a 4-county area housed in Jasper. Okay.
Well, there are times too, in some cases, trying to get through some of these issues in your home county provides other difficulties.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes, sometimes it's better to be somewhere other than there. Yes.
Okay. Are you guys comfortable with taking this under advisement and making a decision on the 21st or so? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind waiting a couple weeks on that.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to present to us or share? No. Okay. All right. So we will have a continued meeting on the 21st and we'll put that on the agenda and that'll give us time to work through any thoughts or follow-ups that we might have. If you want to leave us with any contact info, you probably did give it to us before, but anything fresh would be great. I get a jumble of papers and occasionally something gets misplaced. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
On that same topic, we have House of Grace Director Tammy Tidd here with us this morning. Good morning. Okay, man.
Do you have a couple extras if somebody wants one? Good morning. Thank you for another opportunity to speak. In case you don't know me, I'm Tammy Tidd, the founder and executive director of the House of Grace Recovery Homes, which we are a recovery house that's helping women who struggle with addiction. House of Grace has been open for 9 years next month. Our first house was in Thorntown. And then we opened the Rensselaer house, here in Rensselaer, which will be 5 years this month, which is crazy to even think about. It's gone very quickly. And currently, we're preparing to open our third house in Lafayette, and hopefully that will happen by the first of this summer. Our mission is to inspire, change, empower women to make good choices in daily routines, work ethics, relationships, both physically and spiritually, to successfully maintain an alcohol and drug-free life. Our vision is to offer a safe place for women coming out of jail, prison, or off the street, where they can continue to rebuild and restore their lives and introduce them to Christ. We are a 501c3 self-funded ministry. We operate on donations, grants, fundraisers, weekly fees that the ladies pay. We have a budget around $45,000 a year just for the Rensselaer house. Our request today is for $30,000 out of this opioid money to help us to continue to do some work. Some of that money that will be granted would be used toward to get some kind of used gator or yard, some kind of whether it be a golf cart with a bed in the back to help us do yard work, because we found out that there's more yard work to do than we expected. Some would be used for some sponsorship funds for our ladies who come in the house who don't have money, which the majority of them are in that category. And that'll help pay for their fees for the first 3 or 4 months until we get them into a job. Some of the money would be used for some education classes for our staff, continued learning, some for operating expenses. But we would just appreciate anything that's offered that would help us to continue to just change one life at a time.
Do you have any, I know I attended your banquet. I think you did too, right?
I did, yes.
Did you have any stats or any report from like last year, how things have been going at the house in Jasper County or your houses in general, just to give us a.
Yep, things have been going very well, actually. We had our 31st graduate just about a month ago out of Jasper County, our Rensselaer house. And we've had to this point, our 31st graduate, we've had, I'm trying to remember these numbers, about 89 ladies who have come to the house. Most of those, some didn't stay and some did. But our success is about 32% of what we've seen. And for me, true success is, do you stay clean and sober after you leave? And we've had good success with that as well with those who have graduated. But yeah, and with us getting ready to open our third house, we're just watching things go and grow. And I believe that we're going to have even more here in Jasper County this year than we've had in the past.
And remind me, and is it a 12-month program or what's the duration that people?
It's a 1 year.
1 year.
And they can stay up to 18 months.
Okay. Okay. Very good. I know you've been searching for maybe a larger facility here in the county. Have you had any success with that yet?
We have not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, the house we're in has been good for us to this point. But we found that we do need a little bit more space, especially for the management. Because they're having to share bathrooms with the residents, and that's always a struggle. We need another living space for visits and classes. So we're still looking, just waiting for that person to come to us and say, yeah, I have it. Because you know how, if you know anything about the 501c and the self-funded ministries, it's difficult. So if you have a house, we're ready to hear what you have. But yes, we're still looking.
Yeah, they've been utilizing the house that was the Jasper County Recovery House, which is owned by Harris Homes, and so they've been working in cooperation with that. So that's been a good partnership
Yes.
to at least get you sustainable. And
Right.
you originally started in the apartments over here at the college. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And Tammy got introduced and brought up to Jasper County largely through the initiative of Sheriff Williamson.
Yes.
So, yep. Well,
Yep.
thank you for the work you're doing. I think
Thank
we'll have a response ready for you on the 21st at our meeting at that time. So,
All right. Thank you.
all right. Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
Tammy. Appreciate it. Okay, ready for some other business? Ryan, do you want to talk about fuel contracts?
Yeah, so we covered this last month too, but I think there was a couple lines that we missed on there. So I called up to Keystone and they added that under the same rate that we were. So basically there's nothing else we have to add to it. He's already added those to our lines. So there's
Okay.
about 7 of them. I think we dropped one. Prosecutor's office, I think the one we dropped because they weren't utilizing
Okay.
Keystone cost, but yeah.
Okay, so we had approved the amounts before, but we just need to sign to satisfy the auditor, I believe. Nope, we already did sign it, so we're all good. You want us to sign this page too?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a change in stuff.
The first page left out some. The
Okay.
departments that were used.
Right.
Yeah.
And the new page on top has the additional.
Yeah, they've got all the
departments
additional. So that's everything we need.
So you want us to sign the new page too, or is you do?
on it. Sure.
Okay, all right, so let's,
Or initial it and sign the back, whatever.
well, the back one is signed,
Yeah, the
but,
back
Okay.
one is signed.
Yeah.
okay, well,
But, yeah.
we can initial, that's fine. That sounds good. We don't want Cynthia to be upset with us. Ryan or Craig, do you have any other business? Or I move on to around the table?
I would just say, the last meeting, we talked about a former employee and we have a current employee now, actually 2, lost a husband this week. And then another employee that was her uncle, the same guy. And so, for the family and friends of Ray Schultz, keep them in your thoughts, prayers. It's never easy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you, Craig, for mentioning that. Ryan, with that, you have anything else?
Not at this moment.
Yeah. Diana, any other?
I think I'm okay.
Okay. Jack?
Yep, here we go.
Couple things. One, let's do a road right away permit. And as Ryan said, this is something we really didn't last month. The paperwork just got filled out. Where NIPSCO came last month and they have to replace like 6 miles of 2-inch natural gas in Remington area up to 4-inch.
This is the. Okay,
The gas, coming on White County.
for the gas line replacement. Okay, all right.
And I'll forward you guys an email that's got the maps and all this and that. I'm
Yeah.
getting it to run, but
But
they were here and discussed.
yes, they
everything.
were. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Rogelio, okay. All right, so Jack is presenting us the form to sign for the buried cable excavation permit for this gas line replacement that was presented to us previously. would one of you gentlemen move and make the motion for us to go ahead and sign this officially?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Ryan makes the motion,
Support.
supported by Craig. Any further discussion? Not all in favor as presented, say aye.
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 Okay,
Okay, and let's touch base a little bit. Jake, you're here. Come on up. We didn't get to talk to him last meeting. There may be a couple things on the table. One, we have a grant for striping, and you ask us to reach out to the minor wheat field. Take it from there, Jake.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Regarding the striping project, which is an HSIP funded project through INDOT with 90% federal funds, that 10% match comes from the local constituent. So with respect to that, we've reached out to DeMont and Wheatfield. Both have been willing to provide some amount of the match towards the project. And this is for striping that will occur on arterial roadways that intersect State Road 10. Say that 10 times fast. So they've been willing to do that. And what we'd like to do now is maybe have the board make a motion or provide direction to perhaps it's Mr. Beaver for him to begin an agreement for interlocal agreement between the county and those two communities for both the local match and then the long-term maintenance of that striping once it's been installed.
okay.
Yeah, that, and that maintenance thing, even when we did it, there by the KV school, and that did it first. I think the second time KV and I helped us, but now it has to be restriped and that, and we pay for it every time it needs to
I was
be
gonna say,
done.
as long as it's written in there where this is paid for from now on forever, I'm fine. Every time you go through in the dark, you can't see a doggone thing coming up stoplight on 400
So
West.
maintenance would also be shared with the other, that'd be part of our interlocal agreement would be.
We would recommend that that be part of the interlocal agreement, that they make a contribution to the 10% local match based on the amount of work that occurs. I think it's roughly $2,000 of local match. And then carrying forward any, striping that would need to occur once the work has been degraded over the years, it would be their responsibility within their jurisdictions to do that work and not the county.
All right, would one of you want to move and make the motion to approve Eric to get that interlocal agreement developed under the advisement of BFNS and Jake to make sure that all the points are covered, including maintenance?
Make a motion.
Ryan makes the motion.
Support.
Supported by Craig. Any further discussion? Not all in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So let's say we get everything agreed, lines signed and so forth. What's the timeline for something like that to actually get started?
I think the work on that, if I recall correctly, is going to occur next year.
Okay.
So probably the later end of the summer next year. If I remember right, September of 27 is
Okay.
the completion due date through the funding.
All right.
Yeah.
And when we have Jake, we'll just touch on this topic because it came up in an email too. So we've always talked about maybe one of the next bridges we work on is 88 and 1,000. And Jake's working with the drainage board for the Zimmer ditch. And then there's a timeline thing. Take it from there.
Yeah, you may have seen some correspondence prior to the holidays regarding direction on that, because if I remember correctly, the commissioners at the meeting prior, I guess the December meeting, wanted to have the public hearing that was going to occur for Zimmer Ditch to talk directly to the property owners affected by improvements on Bridge 88. But with the two of those projects kind of lining up and then the delay in the public hearing for Zimmer Ditch, we didn't really have that opportunity. So we were really at your will in regard to how you want to move forward with Bridge 88. If you want to engage those residents prior to any action or wait for a point in time in which a public hearing occurs for Zimmer Ditch, just to kind of keep those things in line. Just wanted to get some direction on that. And you can think about that. I don't mean to.
I've talked to a couple of the landowners out there now, and they're they're understanding, obviously, they want the ditch cleaned, right?
Right.
But they understand that having that done and the realignment of the ditch for the bridge makes good sense and timing wise. So I think they're ready to have that conversation. So
great.
I don't think it's an issue as far as that goes. If we want to set something up sometime to pull them in and sit down and say, hey, this is what we're doing or what we want to do. This is why. And this is when the ditch to get clean and try to do this as a coordinated effort all at once and maybe save us some money.
Same, and I've had the same conversation. Everybody's very receptive.
Yeah.
All at once.
Yep. Yep. So.
So based on that, what are we thinking timeline wise there?
Next, after harvest probably as well.
Of 26. Yeah. Yeah. But we'd have to start the bridge. I mean, the whole paperwork process for that needs to happen soon.
Yeah, that was, so I think you've all seen and had a chance to review the services agreement from back in November, December. None of that has changed. And it would really schedule right in order to get that completed after harvest. Because the permitting for any of the work in the ditch and some of the permitting for the bridge is what's going to be the driving force, as well as any right-of-way acquisition. While they may be favorable, it still takes time to go through the process.
Right.
So
maybe can we get together after this and see if we can get something set up before spring break and see if we can get those people to a meeting?
Absolutely.
We should do it outside of the meeting too.
Yeah, just get everybody together to talk about it and what our intent is.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's all I had.
All right. Thank you, Jake.
Wait, we got one more.
Go ahead.
So we did have 3 grants. One's a striping, one's signing, but we had an SS4A, and that tells about what we should do with our roads. And I think we have to have an agreement for them. Go take us from there, Jake.
Okay, right. SS4A, Safe Streets for All. You probably remember going after the funding. We were able to get the grant. That's through federal highway. This provides for what's referred to as a safety action plan. At the time, a lot of these meetings had a lot of folks coming, telling us about problems and issues with intersections. What this safety action plan does is it takes a comprehensive look at all of Jasper County, identifies hot spots for accidents and things of that nature, and then develops a plan to mitigate those. This will be in coordination with CERPC, who's got a similar grant in place to do that kind of work. They had identified, I think, 2 locations in the county that they would look at under their plan. What remains will be looked at under your own plan. So the county went through an RFP process, which is a selection process for professional services. They used the INDOT website to administer that. I think you received 3 respondents. Went through a scoring process, and then we were advised as we were selected after review of that. So what the next steps are would be more or less a scoping meeting, which identifies what everything we're going to do, including public meetings and outreach and things of that's required by the grant, and then provide you with an agreement for those services moving forward.
Yeah, so that's coming up. That's why I had him talk about it.
So do we have a tentative time when that scoping meeting is planned?
I would like to see that get fit in by the end of the month if possible. I think Jack's been pressured by Federal Highway to provide quarterly reports, even monthly reports to Federal Highway for the last few months, if I'm not mistaken. So they're wanting to see that move forward and get completed as quickly as possible.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, then we need to get that. I guess we'll hear from you guys.
Yeah. We'll keep you in touch.
Yeah, we'll get some dates out there for everybody.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jake.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I see Jim and Lana are here with Soil and Water. Anything you'd like to? You're back. Yes.
Lana's up.
Hello again. Happy New Year to all of you. As you know, last summer we had vacancies for both of our staff positions. One was for 2 months, the other one was for 1 month. So we have a lot of catch up to do this fall. We had 2 major grants that were applied for. And so a lot of comp hours were accumulated by our staff because of those demands. We played a lot of catch up. So I'm here to request to see, they each have around 30 hours of comp time that just were unable to be used in December with year-end deadlines. And I'm just here to request compensation for that, either financially or to allow them to carry over those hours of comp time.
Okay. What's your preference, fellas? Do you want to specify an amount of time that you want them to use those hours?
No, I don't have any. We just sort of have this unspoken rule in-house that we don't do it at the same time. We don't want to leave our office
Yeah.
unstaffed. And so basically we work with them. We work around just deadlines that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you adequately enough staff now that if they carry the time over and use it up before August 1st, that it's not going to leave you short?
No, that will be fine. We have down periods that we'll just plan around and make sure that those hours are taken off when it's the least impact to the office.
I guess I'd rather see them carry it
Yeah.
over and use it up
Okay.
if to write them a check.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we're happy to do that. And like I said, there were funds left on the table for the county to use. So I feel good about
I'd
that.
rather see the utilization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When do you guys want to move and make the motion to approve soil and water carrying over those comp hours for the staff?
And move to approve carrying over the comp time from 2025 to 2026.
And is there a deadline for when those should be used?
I'd say we need to get them used up by August.
Yeah.
Okay.
The end of August.
Definitely by the end of the third quarter, for sure.
And the third quarter. Okay. I'll let them know that.
All right. Greg
I
makes a
support.
motion with that timeline added. Ryan supports. Any further discussion? Not all in favor as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other business from anyone else with the county? Steve is here from the council and I see Jake as well. Any comments?
Scott Walstra and Paul Norwine.
Scott, oh, I didn't see those guys
Yeah,
hiding
we
back
got-
there. Okay, oh, there they are. All right, good to see you guys. Okay,
About Zoom.
anyone on Zoom care to, any other business from any Jasper County official on Zoom? All right, now we would just entertain a few moments for some public comment, just covering general topics. Anyone in audience care to? Sure.
Hopefully it's easy. Rebecca Dirdorf, 13951 North, 500 East, Sampier. At the bottom of the agendas, you have a little asterisk that there's a link to the website for live transmissions, and archived copies of live transmission can be found by visiting a link. So I click on the link, it goes back to the commissioner's page. I've looked in several categories trying to find this link for.
So you actually might need to just click on the YouTube link at the top of the page. That probably needs to be rephrased. There's a YouTube link you'll see at the top of the page. That's where the archived
Okay,
meetings are.
gotcha. That's
Which
all.
I've tried to talk to IT to see if they can get everything's in reverse based on the camera. And it's like, why can't we get that reverse so you can read things the right way?
Okay.
Content is the same, but yeah, that's where it's at.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other?
Are we adjourning or are we continuing?
We're going to continue this meeting until January 21st at 8:30 a.m. here at the 910 South Sparling Avenue location. With that in mind, would one of you two gentlemen move and make the motion to continue this meeting to that time?
I'll make a motion to continue till January 21st.
Ryan makes the motion to continue. Do I have support?
Support.
Supported by Craig. All in favor of continuing, say aye.
Aye.
All right, short recess and then drainage board. The marathon.